I received honorary doctor and other degrees several times from several universities and several institutions. But as the sun shines on my face today, I am feeling, I am experiencing the radiance of this day, very special day. These days are very special for us. We are celebrating 75 years of our independence. For this independence, there has been a great struggle in the life of this nation. The history of our independence is well, we have seen, we have experienced, whereas the young generation has not known the price that we had to pay. But I have seen those days myself. And I recall the memories of these days. We are celebrating the 75 years of our independence. And 25 years later, we will celebrate the 100 years of our independence. As this day is very special for us, particularly for students, particularly for teachers, people like me, this one. When we celebrate 100 years of our independence, we have a great dream for that day. We have a great dream for even today. And my own dream is that when we celebrate, we rise to celebrate in this edifice like Nad. My dream is that on this day, India will once again rise. Rise to what? To welcome that day, that when, as our Honorable Prime Minister often said, that in this great nation will once again become the great nation, the great civilization of the entire world, where we'll set up new ideals of what in really independence of the entire world means. You know, we are assuming the presidency of a very special presidency where we want to show the world what independence would mean. Independence of the entire population of the world, which is closing to 8 billion people. How the world should celebrate its independence, in what sense? We have to establish new ideals. We are talking about that. What would be the new ideals for the humanity? When India celebrated, that celebration has had a very special message to ourselves and to the world. And the message that came from, ये विश्व ही हमारा घर है. I remember the great saint of Maharashtra, Saint Dhaneshwar. He declared in Dhaneshwari, the commentary on great Bhagavad Gita, Hey Vishwachi, in Marathi I am saying, Hey Vishwachi Maje Ghar. The whole world is my family. And that is not only I am just declaring like that kind of thing, I am very steadfast in this declaration. It is so important that I will never forget this independence at any cost. Such is the day, such is the ideal, such is the civilization. So we are rising here to establish, re-establish, reaffirm that great civilization which really rose from this day. I think this day is very special in the context of we should remember it again and again and again and again. Can this great nation reclaim her glory? Not for glory, but the glory that will shine from its ideals, from our ideals. That is the issue. I have no doubt we have been often talking about what would be those ideals. But those ideals will establish in a civilization where knowledge was most respected. I think what today, when I am standing in this convocation hall, which has been specially made, what are the ideals of this nation? We never celebrated, we are never proud of our great wealth, great heroics, or what we accomplished in the great wars. We always celebrated only the great knowledge system which India built. If at all I am proud of this country, proud in the sense of with humility. That is the great knowledge system that we established, which you call Vedic knowledge system. Vedic knowledge system that is articulated in our Vedas, in our Upavedas, in our Vedangas, in our Darshanas. Perhaps we are not introduced to the great knowledge system in our education system of today. I will not say about this university. I have seen great culture as I was watching the words in the last, I think the conference which I was participating. See, I must be one thing we must be proud of, my dear students, and our parents, and myself, that I was born. I'm very proud that I'm really grateful to God that I was born in this great nation of the world. Great nation. I was born in a small village, population of 300, in a small village in Maharashtra. I studied in a school which had no building. Not far back, we had schools with no buildings. We had schools where only one teacher. But in such a system, it could impart. I think one thing I was very proud of is that our teachers, our Gurujans, our teachers, told us about the civilization of this culture of this country. Again and again, it came from our grandmothers, it came from our parents, and we must be very proud of that kind of things. If at all we love is our motherland, not very proudly, in that sense, with great pride of that kind of thing, with great humility. When I look back and look forward, really, can we reclaim that culture? That grand culture which you are talking about, 75 years we are celebrating, and very soon 100 years. What are the contours of that culture? And every university must revisit, particularly on that very special day like a convocation day like today, this one kind of thing. Convocation is a very important day where we must revisit for which what are the ideals on which we are trying to get education? What do we want to be? What is the purpose of our life? Where we will take our great Mother India once again? I have only one goal. India should once again rise and re-establish in which we are very steadfast about thinking. Where I answer the questions which come to my mind. Why am I here? This is a Vedic question, fundamental Vedic question. When I ask, why am I here? What is this world that I experience, that I see, the sky that I see? Where will I go from here? These questions have been addressed in our Vedas. And one of the purposes of our university should be, not one of the purposes, I think, should be the universalization of mind. Is this to the education? Will it bring to me the universalization of mind? Where I will accept everybody, not only humans, but all beings of this creation. And then what happens? If these fundamental questions arise before us, which have been answered in the Vedas. That's why I'm very proud that I was born in this culture. Today, we were talking about the supercomputer, the computing. Imagine a culture that thought of that entire number system can be abstracted into 2 digits. What was mentioned, 0 and 1 kind of things. Not 0 and 1, but 0 and its negation. That's how it is written, its negation. The number system that has given an amazing technology, an amazing instrument in human cognition, that all the expression which can be put into symbols can be abstracted in this form. That's what our rishis told us. It is that system, I'm not talking of the digital, it is that system that created that abstraction which made the impossible thing possible. When I look at computers or supercomputers or advancement or a language, I am amazed that anything that can be expressed can be expressed in these 2 forms. Not only 2 forms, as I said, 1 form, 1 and its negation. It can be. Look at this. I think young students, don't look at it at computers, don't look at it in that form, but look at this great abstraction. The power of science comes from abstraction. Power of science comes from abstraction. I write one equation, and that equation can tell us about how this world, how this environment works, how anything works. The abstraction of mathematics. That's what we should look at. It is that abstraction which made possible for us to develop supercomputers, to build models for everything that we experience and work with. I would like that this university should teach, all universities must teach, this kind of universal language, which will lead us to something which we attain that we have not attained so far. That is the power of mathematics. That is the power of any abstraction. Don't look at from solving an equation or this kind of thing. What is the abstraction behind it? Our rishis did that, or Vedas really do that. So many things can be said, friends. When we celebrate 75 years, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, we are celebrating 100 years. What is that thing which India will offer to the world? What is that thing which we'll offer ourselves? What is that thing when we talk about enlightenment of Buddha, or enlightenment of our great rishis, enlightenment of our knowledge system, that abstraction, that realization, that is most important for us. Universities are meant for that, to understand that universalization of our mind, the language which will teach us that. And that's why we need to revisit our great culture and civilization, and our music, our dances, our arts. I am very pleased, personally very, very pleased, to see that this university respects science and technology and engineering and management and many other disciplines, but it also respects our great art, our great abstractions, our great dances. Zakir Hussain ji here, how his music enthralls us more than anything else. We have great poets here. The importance of poetry. It is in this context, gentlemen, I want to tell you, I was just addressing the conference, which conference is dealing on the issues of science and technology, communication and networking. But most important issue before us is that, what is that it teaches, it tries to bring. One thing which I admire and I acclaim was that it is now, this university is celebrating science, technology, dance forms, music, and we admire all these things equally well. Some people, I think here, the great artists are present. Also, I think we are trying to learn newer and newer branches of frontiers of knowledge, like artificial intelligence, like new kind of networking, like a networking that can allow us to communicate with the frontiers of our cosmos, not particular city or miles or this kind of thing, but also the frontiers of human understanding, human cognition. And what makes it possible? The knowledge that is expressed in our Vedas. I'm not saying Vedas just as an ancient knowledge system, but also the knowledge it embeds in us. It allows us to communicate with the Brahmanda. I'm not talking the whole cosmos. How? What is that? What is that architecture of the human brain which makes it possible? We look at that, we live in a world, and look at that cosmos, billions and billions and billions of years. When I work with supercomputers, I come to know that what kind of computations are required for a supercomputer. What are the limits of that computation? I said, that those numbers, humans are not even able to name those numbers. And those numbers I will have to deal with. I will have to create supercomputers of those capacities. We will have to create those numbers. Why? But because this universe, this cosmos, is so vast. When I see the students here, I say that what kind of computers you will develop now? What kind of challenges can be given to them? They will be given challenges which can perform not billions, not millions, but billions, not millions, but trillions, not trillions, but not exa, but beyond that kind of thing, where there are no numbers, and the numbers have not yet been named even. That is the challenge, and those computers will create. So many things can be said, but today I think I have young students whom I'll invite in my own research labs, that can you think of a number of that kind? Can we develop supercomputers of that kind, computational engines of that kind, which will calculate those vast numbers on which you will take the cognizance of whole cosmos like that. I would like to invite your students and work along with me to create those possibilities, and then you will understand how is this universe. And then you realize that you have been so lucky that we were born in that human form which can cognate this entire Brahmanda. So many things can be said. But I am looking forward for the day when our students will come out and reveal the hidden mysteries of this universe. And then you will realize how wonderful this world is. Then we'll realize how wonderful this human life is. How wonderful is this? And it can be abstracted. And I think Einstein said very rightly, the beauty of this Brahmanda, or this universe, is that you can cognate uncognizable. You can cognate the thing is so vast, so mysterious, that it can be cognated also. My dear students, don't settle. Let us not settle for anything less. I am born here with the unique opportunity. This one where I can cognate in this very, very own life, maybe 100 years, 90 years, whatever the kind of thing. And the joy that will result from that cognition is so wonderful, which has been described in the Vedas. And let us not miss that the great opportunity which will come from mathematics, which will come from languages, which come from music, which come from different arts. Lastly, I would say, my students and my teachers here, that today we are looking for great convergence of great many fields together. It has never happened before. Today, as I said in the address to the conference, never before we are trying to bring in several fields together, where we'll be studying not only mathematics, not only languages, not only arts forms, not only the forms of humanity, but tomorrow's knowledge of tomorrow's studying or pursuits of knowledge will bring all these branches together. This is a great time of convergence, and that's why I'm very happy to be in the campus of this university, where really a very genuine, very honest attempt has been made to bring several branches of learning together and offer it to our students, the wonders of our knowledge system. So many things can be said. I am very proud that I have been honored. I said like that, I have been honored several times, but on different branches. But this is a very special thing where you realize, the founder chancellor has realized. I was listening to your students, researchers, what kind of education is being imparted. We are talking of new knowledge system. We are talking about new education system. And we have to see that once again re-establish the new education system, which will open up that frontiers of knowledge that can be understood when we get born on this earth, on this planet, with this form. So let us not waste that time. Let's not waste this very important opportunity that has been given to us by all generous. May you learn all that, this magnificence of knowledge which we respect. I'm thankful to you for inviting me on this occasion, talking to students. That is the great vision of this university. I'm sure this university will emerge one of the great universities of the future, and I have no doubt about it, what you have seen. Thank you very much.